Hey everyone, Cosmos here from DolyGames. In this video we're going to be looking at a new willpower of patch 7.5. I just posted the video for the Sea Witch, and this one is going to go into one of the next ones. So as I mentioned before, the new UI down here, you have to hover with your mouse to get the icons to pop up. So it's a tiny bit extra effort, but it's a cleaner look. So anyways, let's open them up. So as I said, I just posted the video for the Sea Witch. You can refer to that. And let's go to the next one. In this video we're going to be talking about the Death Spectre. So the Death Spectre requires a Frost Panther Lord and a Flying Rabbit. So normally these are not super popular demons, so it could be that you don't have them available. But you don't have to rush. You can just get them freely. It's not so difficult. Just follow your Demon guide, which is over here, and just see what you need to summon them. Here, Frost, for example, you need this stuff. You just summon them and make it like that if you want to get this specific willpower. But I suggest that you first look at all the content, the videos and articles that I am posting and I will be posting on this before you make a decision, because it all takes a lot of resources. So anyways, let's go. Death Spectre. This one is also taking the same 3000 memory crystals and demonic blood, the demons I already mentioned. I again remind that it's better that you make level 10 like it says here and not more. So just make 10s, fuse them, merge them, and only upgrade afterwards. Don't upgrade above 10 before. It is just a suggestion. Anyway, so let's go into the preview mode. So you see there's a big difference between the starting look and the ending. I'll try to do a change. I'll post probably on the blog how it changes over levels, but we won't do that in this video. So let's look at these at the Death Spectre. This is the maxed out window. So you can see here from the attributes, this is probably a physical attack. Willpower, because the physical attack is at 93%, magic attack is 87%, so usually that's the indicator of what it is. The defense is like the other one, is at equal 94%, HP 99%. Of course, all of this is at level 12. So bear in mind that when these things come to the normal servers, then most probably people are not going to have these at level 12 straight away, so it will take some time. But we want to have a look at the situation at level 12 so that we can see the long term how it looks like. So next we're going to look at the skills. So the way it works is there are 2 passive skills, 6 active skills here, and 2 Delphic skills. So let's start with the passive skills. So we got Tortua, 50% chance to cause the enemy lose HP equal to 200% of skill damage each turn when dealing damage, last 2 turns. That's actually pretty strong. The only thing that will be a question here is 200% of whose skill damage, the enemy's skill damage or the willpower skill damage. So if it is the enemies, of course it's much more significant, because the main character of the enemy will have a much bigger damage output. But in any case, this is a bleed. Basically it's a bleed skill, and there's a 50% chance of activation, which means every second turn, roughly speaking. So not too much to be scared about, but there will be a considerable bleeding going on. So also remember, I will say again that these skills are at level 12, so bear that in mind. We are probably not going to have all the skills at level 12, so this is just to see their maximum effect. Right, Dark Knowledge is next, increases physical attack and HP by 20%. So those are significant figures. We will remember this passive skill when we go look at the others, because then if there is an attack skill, which there will be, it will be increased by 20%. And his health, which is almost exactly the same as the main character now with 99% HP, this is going to be increased by 20%. So it could be that the willpower will have more HP than your character. So that's going to be your first. Okay, Burning Soul is the first active skill we're looking at. It's going to deal 430% physical damage to random enemy, and it's a single target, 2-second cooldown. So it's a quick attack, quick simple attack, and these two are his basics. Like in all other cases, are his basic skills. So then we have the Exorcism, also 2-second cooldown like this one, 380% to an enemy in the back row. So if you have to pick between the two, I'd just go with the higher damage one, because yeah, there's nothing special about the back row. It used to be very important in the past, and they still kept it, even though they broke all the logics of the past, so it has less meaning now. So in the past, you would have a mage in the back row, or an archer in the back row, and a tank knight in front defending them, so it made sense to attack the back row. Now everybody is roughly the same class, you could even say, so that kind of a separation doesn't exist anymore. So next we got Magic Skin, increases character block rate by 20% for 2 turns. So first impression, very like hesitant about this skill. So you would have to fill him up with the block rate for the block rate to be effective in the first place, and then that would be increased by 20%, which is not clear if that's even sufficient against the enemy's penetration. So as a first impression, probably not a very useful skill. I'll just predict that nobody will use this. Alright, next, Magic Oppression, deals 380% damage to enemies in the front row, physical damage. So it's not an AoE, but it's an AoE if everybody is on the front row. So it's in the between of a single target and an AoE. So it's okay, but the damage is lowish, 380%. That's similar number as the healer had, so that's not very impressive. But let's just see what else he has. Broken Force deals 455% physical damage to 2 to 4 random enemies and reduces target's crit rate by 5%. Lasts 2 turns but has a cooldown of 30 seconds. Because it has a cooldown of 30 seconds, it's significantly less useful. The crit rate reduction by 5% is a positive thing, but I don't think we'll even notice that in battle. Like, we wouldn't even know that this happened. So the damage figure itself is better. It's not 380%, it's 455%, and it does almost do an AoE. So 2 enemies are guaranteed, but up to 4 is by luck. So not entirely impressed by that one either. Magic Infiltration deals 455% physical damage to enemies in the front row and reduces target's block rate by 5%. So that's good, assuming that the target does have a high block rate against your penetration. So generally penetrations tend to be more popular than block rates, although there are some players that have pumped up their block rate and gotten some benefit from it, but still not very impressed about it. So would judge this not by the 5% reduction of the block rate, but by again the 455% damage, which is better than the 380. But it's basically a damage skill with a 30% cooldown, and it hits the front row, so not entirely impressive. So these were the active skills, and remember that all of that will be increased by 20% physical attack, but still not very impressed with the way. What I see for now is you would take this single target 430%, which will be increased by 20%. You probably will skip the 380, will probably skip the block rate. Let's see, Yeah, so he does hit harder. He hits harder, but they are just damage skills, so not entirely impressive. Let's have a look at the Delphics. Alright, we got Delphic Soul Sucker. Deals 7, and now we're talking 710% physical damage to random enemy and decreases damage received by 2%. So last 2 turns. So this is already more impressive. That is a significant hit. And I think even a main character would get hurt by this. Alright, so that one I like. Next, Delphic Energy Fountain deals 440% physical damage to all enemies. Now that is horrible. That is really horrible, because that is the same damage level as regular skills, such as the Broken Force. The only difference is that this is a guaranteed AoE, but there are very limited situations when this guy will survive until the Delphic is ready, and then he will need to use an AoE Delphic. There are just very few situations I can imagine. So what I'm seeing for this guy, so this seems to be just a tough attacking guy, and we can see that it's all coming from the Udemon selections. Of course, it's a mix between the Frost Panther Lord, which is also an attacking guy, and a Flying Rabbit. Although I'm a bit surprised with this kind of skill selection with that merger, but still, if you would pick this Willpower, you would definitely want the Tortua. I think the Tortua is not looking very impressive, but it is going to be probably more damage than all the active skills, because it's 200% of skill damage bleed, and it goes for 2 turns. So from what I can figure, this is more damage than anything he has. So that you will want. You will definitely want the Dark Knowledge. That is direct bell rating increase as well, and it's a good one. It's not just some kind of air stats. It's the attack, it's the health, so it's all very good. Now for the Delphics, I would say for sure Delphic Soul Sucker would be his main skill. I would completely ignore the Energy Fountain. If you have a slot to put it in, you could put it just so that you have a choice between the two, but I'd say you'd go with the Delphic Soul Sucker. You'd take the Broken Force as your so-called AoE, which it's not, but it's half an AoE, and in places where you have 2 enemies, it is an AoE because it guarantees 2 targets. Then you would take the Magic Infiltration, not for the block rate, but because of the 455% attack. You'd skip the 380, you'd skip the block, you'd skip this one. You would take this one for the 430%. So basically you would just go for the highest damage figures. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's what you'd have, probably. So as a judgment on this Willpower, I would be negative towards this Willpower. It looks cool and everything, and as the game art indicates, he is like a, he punches. That's what he does. There is no support skills. There is no nothing. He's just a brute force, bulldozer type of a Willpower. And if you would pump him up with a lot of attack, he could probably dish out some really good damage. But I'm just afraid that it's just not going to be enough. He'll just get killed. As I said, he doesn't really have any support skills. Like, there is no heal, there is no damage reduction really, there is no damage increase. There is nothing super special. So I think that less players will use this, with the exception of very strong players, because he's inheriting stats from the main character. If you're a very strong player, you could use this guy as your personal bulldozer bodyguard and just AFK and let this guy do all the killing. That's my impression of the Death Spectre. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do click on like, share, subscribe if you enjoy the video, and also please support my work if you can, if you enjoy my work, of course. I'll put all the links and everything in the description below. Also, I opened a new playlist for patch 7.5 that's going to be linked as well. And that's it, you guys. Thanks for watching and have a very nice day.